Okay, again, first thing you notice, again, this is the apex, so this is the left ventricle, this is the bottom of the left ventricle, right? Left one, this is the right. First thing you notice is right's a lot smaller, a lot less muscle. And all of this, they tell you to look for the different layers of cardiac muscle. You can't tell the difference. You're just going to call it all myocardium. Okay? So there's a lot more on the left side than the right side, because the right side only has to contract with enough force to send the blood to the lungs. The left side has to contract with enough force to send it out that great big aorta all over the body. So it has to be much more muscular on the left side. Okay? There are valves that regulate flow from the atria to the ventricles. They're called cuspid valves. There's a tricuspid valve on the right side. We can pull this open a little bit. And cusps just refer to these little flaps of tissue right here. Little flaps, see that? That's part of the tricuspid valve on the right. Those little flaps are anchored. See all those tiny little threads? Tiny little threads in there? Those are called the chordae tendineae, these things right here. Those are the chordae tendineae that anchor the cusps. And those, in turn, are anchored to these bumps here on the wall. Those are the papillary muscles. So when that ventricle contracts, it puts tension on the chordae tendineae, pulls the valve closed. When it relaxes, it releases tension and the valve opens. Okay? So tricuspid valve, chordae tendineae, papillary muscle. Okay? Likewise, the left ventricle, there is a valve coming in from the aorta. Here's our, I'm not done that yet. Coming in from the left atrium to the left ventricle, and that is a bicuspid valve. And here's one of the big cusps right here, flap of tissue, right? And there's all your chordae tendineae, and those in turn are anchored to the papillary muscles on the wall of the ventricle. Okay? And then if we look at the bottom of the ventricle, you can see these big ridges of tissue down there, see those big lines? Okay, that's trabeculae carneae muscle, that's extra muscle, so that that ventricle can contract with enough force to give you the blood pressure. Okay, so again, here's the bicuspid valve, here's the cusp, here's the chordae tendineae. The chordae tendineae are anchored to the papillary muscles on the wall, and then down here in the bottom, you have these extra ridges of muscle called trabeculae carneae. Okay? There are also valves between the ventricles and the vessels leading out of the heart. Those are called semilunar valves. So if we look here, here's our aorta, our big tube coming out from the left ventricle. Okay? And right where that aorta begins, you can see little flaps of tissue right here and here. See that? That is the aortic semilunar valve. There's two flaps of tissue that just kind of go like that. And that regulates flow out of that left ventricle into the aorta. Okay? Likewise, your heart's not cut to show you that, but if they wanted you to see the pulmonary semilunar valve, this is the pulmonary artery coming out of the heart, there is similarly a little flap of tissue like that right at the beginning of the pulmonary artery. Okay? That would be the pulmonary semilunar valve. Okay? And again, if we look at the insides of the, that's pretty good picture. See the inside of the atrium here? See all those ridges and bumps? That's pectinate muscle, and that allows that atrium to contract with some pressure.
Are those the holes?
It's all the bumps. It's all the bumpy things here. That's all pectinate muscle. Okay. Okay. In the right ventricle, you're also going to find something that looks like the rubber band. Right ventricle, this thing right here, that's called the moderator band, and they like to put a clip on that all the time too, so no moderator band. Okay, we don't have that, cows and sheep have that. Okay, good.